Howdy nerds, my name is River. Welcome back to Wind Swirls and Leaps. Today's video is a really exciting one for me personally. I am going to be taking the Pilot Parallel nibs and inserting them into these little Wansi Mini Fountain pens. These pens will be used for all the fountain pen inks that I don't necessarily love in my fountain pens, like shimmer inks, some chromashading inks, and inks that are just too light to show up in fine nibs. When I first became interested in fountain pens, I knew I really wanted to pick up the Pilot Parallel pens, but I never ended up prioritizing buying them over other pens that I wanted. But here we are today, years later, and I finally got my hands on them, and I just can't wait to be able to play around with these in my journals. Today's video is very much inspired by Simone. I will be linking her amazing Pilot Parallel video down in the description below. That is where I learned that these nibs fit in these little Wancai Mini pens. So the reason that I'm going to be putting these nibs in these pens is because they are transparent, so that with a quick glance I can easily see the nib and the ink that I've set them up with. Plus, the Wansi Mini pens are eyedropper pens with a relatively large ink capacity. My plan is to just keep these in a little cup on my desk at all times so that they're easily accessible. Another reason to put these nibs into the Wansi Mini is that they're pretty affordable. You can get them for under $10 or less, and apparently these parallel nibs also fit into pens like these, the Opus 88 or the Benu Euphoria. But if you wanted to put your parallel nibs into these pens, things are going to get expensive fast. So let's unbox these pens, shall we? I have already unboxed the Wansi Minis, as you can see. Really, they just came in a little cardboard box, and then each one came with one of these little glass eyedroppers. So I now have 6 of these because I bought 6 of the pens. So it looks like each of these pens comes with, the pen, the nib, the cap, 2 ink cartridges, and then also a cleaning tool. So let's check it out. I'm having trouble opening them, so I'm gonna use my little mini Japanese folding knife that I have a little Traveler's Factory sleeve for. I don't think this was something you could get in the US, but I was able to find it online, and I love having this little pen on my desk for things just like this. Did I say pen? I meant to say knife. Alright. One of the cartridges. Oh, right, and then these also apparently come with this little piece of paper that you can slit between the nib in order to get the flow working better. Each pen also comes with this booklet, which is really cool because it actually gives you a little instruction guide on how you can practice with the nibs, like different angles you can use to get different lettering techniques. So this is really fun. I'll definitely take a closer look at this after we get things inked up. Alright, so now that we have everything unboxed, it's time to start taking everything apart. So let's start with the Wansi Minis. I believe that these nib units just screw out. Let's see how easy it is. I might have to use, I have this like little piece of grippy rubber. Let's see. Okay, got it. And there you go. That is the nib unit. And now this is free, and apparently we'll be able to just pop the palette parallel nib right in here. And the last one. Just that first one was pretty tight in there. All the others I was able to get out with just my hands. Okay, so now that we have all of those pulled out, it's time to pull out the nib units on the parallels. So apparently, well, that was very easy. It just pulls right out. Put this back on here. All right, that was very easy. So let me move these guys out of the way. So the next step is to put our parallel nibs into the Wancai Minis. Apparently they should just fit in. Might be a little tight. Okay, so I needed the little rubber grip to get it all the way in, and I can see where the feed is up against the section in here, but yeah, apparently that's it. And then this will, yeah, it fits perfectly. Ah, this is so exciting. Cannot wait to use these. Okay, so let's do the rest of these. Oh, looks like this one is too small, or rather probably the Wansi Mini is too big. Let's see if it fits this one instead. Oh, that one also doesn't fit. What about this? Oh no. Oh, this sucks. So it looks like whether it's these parallel nibs or these Wansi Minis, but the sizing is just a little bit off, and I'm not going to be able to put these in here. Let me see if one of these fit in here. Okay, I wasn't able to get this one out. It's like really stuck in there. Let's try another one. Okay, yeah, I cannot get these out. I think now that they're in and they're staying. So unfortunately, you know, whether it be some sort of like factory, what is it called? Like, you know how things are like allowed to be within a certain range at the factory? I'm sure that's what's going on here, right? Like maybe these feeds are slightly smaller and then this section is slightly bigger, so they don't fit. But that's okay. I've got 4 in, so we'll go ahead and we'll play with 4 of these, and then I'll just have to pick up a couple more Wancai Minis. Like I said, they're pretty cheap, so it's no big deal. And yeah, we'll see if in the future I can get these parallel nibs in some other Wancai Minis. Okay, so it looks like I was able to get the 1.5, the 6.0, the 2.4, and the 3.8 nibs locked in. So let's talk about ink now. I went ahead and pulled out some fountain pen inks that I'd like to use in these pens. I definitely got a little thinking to do in terms of which ink I want to put in the nib, especially now that I've only got 4 and can't use all 6 today. So let's see. First I have this Papier Plume, and I think this was a Chicago Pen Show pickup. Yes, okay, so this is the Faceless Lady. This was from, not this most recent pen show, not 2025, but 2024. So the Chicago Pen Show, the Faceless Lady, Papier Plume. This has shimmer in it. It's like a green ink. It actually reminds me a lot of one of my favorite greens, which is Charles Dickens by Dia Trementis. but this has a silver shimmer in it. I don't love putting shimmer in my fountain pens. It's just not really for me. I don't like how it affects the flow, but obviously these parallel nibs are the perfect use for something like this. I also have Wearing Gold Dracula. So this is a red ink with purple shimmer. So we've got another shimmer ink. I've got Diamine Memory Lane. I believe, yeah, this is also shimmer. Looks like that's also some silver shimmer in a purple ink. This is Colorverse Antimatter. I think I also got this for free at a pen show, and I think this is just like a light gray, maybe chromo-shady ink. Another Colorverse here is America's Dairyland. It's like a Wisconsin edition of ink, and my wife, who loves Wisconsin, I gifted this to them, and they've had trouble with this ink. Like, it's a really light ink, so it doesn't show up very well in a lot of pens, so I thought this might be a good one to put in a parallel. And then the last one I have is just like a classic chromo shading ink. This is Sailor 143. I know for sure I want to get this in a pen, so let's see. Let's put that one. Let's see, what nibs do I have again? So I've got a really fat one. That might be fun with that. And then I have a more medium-sized one. I know I want to use Dracula. I could probably put Dracula. It's a little bit darker, so maybe it can go in one of these. Okay, I think I've made my decision. I think I'm going to put the 1.5 nib with Wearing Gold Dracula. I'm going to put the 2.4 nib with Memory Lane. I'm going to put the 3.8 nib with, I'm deciding between these two, but I think I'm leaning towards the Dairyland one. And then I'm going to put the big 6.0 nib with Sailor 143. So let's get these inked up. Okay, so I went to grab a little cup that I'm going to keep the pens in. Apparently, according to a bunch of the comments in different YouTube videos I've watched about this, it's important to store the nibs face up so that they don't leak into the caps. So I'm going to use this. I also grabbed some pipettes. And then this is a piece of paper towel, but specifically, these are the blue shop towels, and this is just like a little fountain pen tip I love to give out, is that instead of using regular paper towels, I prefer these blue ones because they're so much more absorbent and they last a lot longer. All right, let's just start with the big one and Sailor Studio 143. Again, these are eyedropper pens, and they have an O-ring on them, which is great, so you don't have to get your silicone grease out because of that O-ring. Pretty good fill there. Okay. Close that up, put it in here, close up the ink, and we'll move on to the next one. I can tell already that this is going to be a great way to use up ink samples. I wonder if a full little sample vial would fit in here. Alright, this is a shimmer ink, so I'm going to make sure to agitate that shimmer. Oh, this is so fun to be able to see what ink I have in here, and I don't know if you can see it on the video, but I can just see the shimmer sloshing around in there. So fun. Alright, and the last one is Wearing Gold Dracula. This is such a beautiful ink. It's like a deep dark red, but then the bottom has this like iridescent purple shimmer. Alright, so I'm gonna get this all cleaned up and pull out a notebook so that we can test these. Alright, so we've inked up 4 of our parallels, and now we're gonna see if we can get them to write. I think I'm gonna start with this big guy. This is the 6.0 nib and the sealer, what is it, 143, yeah. Let's see. So I've had it, you know, nib up. Oh, but it's already working. Oh my god, amazing. Okay, I think people have said like it's important to go slow when you write with them. Oh my gosh, this is so fun. Let me zoom you in. I didn't expect it to work that fast. All right. And obviously the side strokes are way skinnier. Oh, this is so fun. Oh, this is gonna be so much fun to use in my journals. Wow, that looks amazing. Ah, this is so fun. Okay, let's try out some of the others. So let's see. This one is the green one. So what is that? 3.8 millimeters. And this is the Colorverse America's Dairyland ink. Looks like this one isn't writing just yet. Here we go. That was fast. Having a little bit more trouble with this nib. It doesn't feel as good as the first one did. It almost feels a little scratchy. There we go. Okay, let's try out the next one. Next is the orangey one, and this is a 2.4 millimeter nib. And in this one, I put the diamine ink. What is that called again? Diamine Memory Lane. So it has some shimmer swirling around in there. Let's see how this works. Wow, works instantly. This one also is feeling a little scratchy as I get started. I wonder if the shimmer ink contributes to how it performs. I'm sure it does. There we go. Oh, this is so fun. Let me show you guys that a little bit more close up. So this one took a little bit more effort to get going, but I think that shimmer is gonna dry beautifully. Okay, so let's try the last one, and that is this little red one, which is the 1.5 millimeter nib, and this one I put Wearing Ghoul Dracula. Works instantly. Oh wow, this ink is beautiful. How fun is this? I love it. All right, y'all. Well, I think I know what I'm going to be doing the rest of the afternoon. I'm definitely going to pull out that little instruction booklet that comes with the Pilot Parallels so that I can, you know, practice getting the different kinds of writing in. But wow, this was so fun. This is exactly the type of results I was hoping to get out of these little pens. I'm so excited to have these inked up and ready to play with here on my desk at all times. So I think this is where I'm going to end this video, but I'm sure in future videos you'll get to see these pens in action in my journals. And yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to use them. Let me know how you use your Pilot Parallel pens, or if you have any tips for me as I start to explore using these. So with that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye!